Hi everyone, Jeremy here, Flatware Creations. I am right now soldering this coin onto my C-clamp. I tried to do this earlier with some acid core solder and also some rosin core solder, both lead free, and they would not stick. So my wife called me, so I stopped that live, and now I've broken out the big guns and I've got some hard silver solder, and I'm going to try and get this to flow around the outside edge. So I'm going to get this really hot and then we'll see if this works. I've cleaned both surfaces. And I have it sandwiched in there right now. So I've got to heat up all of this area here. So I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we will give it a shot. I'll see if I can get part of this hot enough to melt it. So the whole thing works as a heat sink. So this whole screw is getting hot. This is all cast metal, so it's all going to get hot. Just try and keep the heat going everywhere. Do do do. We'll see how long this takes. We're going to be building birdhouses today. Once I get this jig made up, it's probably going to take less time than making this thing. Just making sure it's not going to burn my bench. All right, I am done messing with that one. Let's go to the acetylene torch. This should heat it up a little faster. So I'm trying to solder this with silver solder because the other two solders, the acid core and the rosin core, wouldn't stick these together. So I'm using hard silver solder. Come on, start changing colors. I think we're seeing some color change. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting some color. Come on, you can do it. We can do it. I can't believe this isn't soldering. Oh. Okay, so we got some movement here. So I have solder all the way around it. Go slow into the water. I just have the frame Let me fix the camera. Okay. So we'll just on me again. Okay, so we have our piece here. Let me get you guys back down here. All right, sorry about the camera problems. Let me get this set to where I can adjust the autofocus. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again, and everybody cross your fingers. Let's see if it held together. Let's get this. All right, let's see if it'll pop off. Nope. Sweet. I think we're good. Okay. So this is our jig. This is just a regular C-clamp that I have soldered a coin onto. I had to use silver solder. The last two that I've made, I just used a quarter, and I used my regular lead-free rosin core solder. For some reason, this coin did not want to do that. So it probably took me longer to make that than it is to put these guys together. So what these are is these are the part of the handle that doesn't normally get used. So normally we'll use this end for a bell or a refrigerator magnet, or even if we go down quite a ways, all of this can be used as a bud vase holder. But what's left a lot of times is this piece right here, and that's where we get this guy from. So we don't waste anything. So what we're going to do today is let me get that piece of solder back in the correct box. Get there. Okay. And then we're going to take and we're going to make some roofs and get these guys so they're fit up, and we'll get them soldered together. So I'm going to try using my acid core solder, and we will get going with this. What I have to do is I need to get these corners up here. I need to get these set to where they're pretty flush with the roofs. So the way I do that is after my first cut, this is normally sharper. What I'll do is I'll see if I can find a spot where it gets clear, or not clear, but pretty much a solid against it. Let's see if I can turn it around there. So right here, that edge right there is solid. So I need to bend this down a little bit. So I need this side to go down. So I do it a lot of times by putting it in the vise and then just give it a little whack. We'll see how that fits. So we're pretty close right there. So for me, let's flip it around. Yep, so here's what I'm going to do. Because this is really close, the difference is the points. So the point on the roof, we're going to take that down It's a fun project, Backyard Creations. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, sometimes the jigs you have to make and the tools you have to make to do something are more of a challenge or a task in themselves. I like making my own tools. It's fun. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and just go over to my belt sander, and I'm just going to take off the points. So you can see the shiny part. Now when I put this in here, we have a pretty good seal around there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put our jig in here. And I'm going to get this guy set. I'm going to try and do it backwards so you guys can see it. So I'm screwing down this guy. At this point, I want to take and make sure that everything is flush and going in the direction I want. It doesn't really matter where it's at up here. Where it's at up here, as long as this roof is straight. So here's what I do. I'm going to use my solder here. I'm just going to put it in the hole, clip it off. Put another piece in the hole, clip it off. Probably going to do 3 of these, and then we'll see where we get. What you should end up seeing is as this heats up, you'll start to see a solder line as the solder goes around. The other nice part about this jig is that if the solder starts going where you don't want it to, you can just unhook it from the vise and just kind of turn it around to where you can manipulate where that solder is going to get that seal. Okay, So our solder is in there. It is a acid core solder, so it doesn't need any flux. Glasses. And you don't have to have high heat on it. Flip this around. And like I said, we're looking for the solder to start moving. Whoop! I loosened it up too much. Okay, starting to see some movement. Kind of just working it around because it's going to follow the heat. Just a little tap. Okay, so I have a pretty big seam on the back here. I'm just going to sweat solder this. There we go. Just a tiny little drop. So there's the back. And I'm going to just quench it in the water. Yeah. Right. And drain some water out. There we go. Turn the autofocus on. So our roof here looks good. And because this is a pendant, it doesn't have to be watertight. So if you wanted to use less solder, just enough to make sure that it's holding, that's great too. Next, we're going to do our penny. So in Canada, they don't use pennies anymore. So a friend of mine gave me a whole bunch of these Canadian pennies. And I like them to go like this. Whoop. We're going to bring this up. It looks like it's not going to be flush. There we go. That looks better. Now we're just going to squish this down. I wish I could get you guys down a little farther. That was a little bit. So I'm going to go down real slow. Try and keep my house where I want it. So I have pressure on it. I don't have a ton of pressure on it, but I do have pressure on it. So we're going to do the same thing again. Put it in there. And I'm going to do 4, just to make sure it gets all the way around. This was me trying not to waste anything. So I don't think I've really thrown away any part of the silverware I've used in the last 6 or 7 years. I just keep dumping the stuff out, and something just always jumps out at me. I like that part of the creation process. Okay, so we're looking for that solder ring to start. Try to keep your flame moving around so you don't burn off the silver plating. So after this one, I think I'm going to use the other rosin core because I think it melts at a lower temperature. Yeah. I want it to flow a lot faster than that because this is getting really hot. Yep. I don't like that. So I'm going to pull it off. Well, it's on there and I have no ring. Yeah, I have no ring on the outside here. But it's on there. So there's our finished little guy here. So we'll put a little hole in the top and we'll be able to run our wire through there to turn it into a pendant. So let's try this with, let's get you zoomed in here. Okay, so we're going to try this time. Same thing again. We're looking for the roof to be flush. I'm just going to take the points off this one. Whoop. Okay, I'm happy with that. Make sure I get the roof where I want it. Move forward just a touch. So I always try and keep the handle, the birdhouse portion, I try and keep that within the handle. You don't want it hanging over the edge. Okay, so I've got my hole. Solder's going to flow down. So this time we're going to use this rosin core lead free. Same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just pushing it straight back. This should flow a lot sooner. Starting to get some smoke. Okay, solder just flowed. And I'm just making sure that solder gets right around to the front. Solder travels to the heat. So there's that. So that's soldered at a much lower temperature. So let's get this back at here. We got our house. And I need another penny. All right, so here we go. Get this guy sat on there. You want to make sure that it's flat so you don't have any big gaps. And I'm just going to squish it right there. Oop, see how it turned right there? There we go. Now I'm going to double check. Just make sure everything's within the penny. Okay, I like that. So, same thing again, we're gonna do 4 in the front. Or in the hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. Torch me. So this should solder at a much lower temperature. I shouldn't see the coin glowing red. So I can hear it popping inside. There we got some smoke. We should have solder here in a second. Come on. Come on. And make sure you have some ventilation too. Okay. I see my solder line. Yep, there we go. It looks like a solder line. All right, let's dunk it. And it fell off. Bottom. So here's what happened. Yeah, it's autofocus. So the solder just sat in there. It didn't actually drop. So the line that I got around there was just like a char line. So let's do this again. I'm just going to take my Dremel tool here I've got these. Why is the autofocus not working? There we go. Just gonna use this disc. I just want to clean my surface. It needs to be shiny. Same thing for the penny. Okay, let's try this again. I've got my fan going, so I think it's taking away some of the heat. So I turned my torch up just a little bit. We've got smoke again. Come on. Should have flowed already. I bet I can touch the solder to this and sweat solder it from the outside. It's so hot. Yeah, they'd be great as key rings. This is just craziness. I don't know why it's not. Soldered yet. Okay, so I'm done fighting with this one. Woo, flame it way up. Here's my pick. Yeah, that's too much heat. Yeah, nothing's sticking to the penny. I wonder if I can take this off. So this did drop, but I don't think it's stuck. That's sticking to the penny there. So here's how I'm going to get rid of the solder that's on it. Grab my leather here. And it's just far enough to get my roof in there. And then I'm going to take another piece of leather and we're going to heat up the solder, which is right here and right here. And then we will, I'm just going to wipe that solder off. There we go. So now we're back to clean surface. All right, I'm going to try with this guy again. The clamp is working as a heat sink. I might have to go back and watch one of my own videos. You know what? I think, yep. So before I wasn't using this end, I was using this end. All right, let's try it this time. Okay. Come on, camera. Configure. Okay. All right, so we're going to try this again. Just get you right in there. All right, so the solder is on my side this time. Same process though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally I had really good flow after just a little bit of heat on it. And this looks more familiar. It's been a long time since I made these. So still trying to get the heat all the way around it. We got smoke. Come on. And I think we're just about there. So I'm seeing flux. This is just crazy. Right? Yep, I can sit here all day and make them, and then as soon as I go live, all right, that's just too hot. Yeah, the coin's about to turn liquid. So we'll get this guy off here. Yay, we got it. The penny is on there, but I still don't see a solder line. All right. Let's try doing the base first so I can see what's going on. Hold on one sec. Hi, Annie. Okay. There. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Well, you need to be positive. I'm sorry, honey. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. I love you. Bye. My wife's in the hospital right now, getting chemo for a crazy rare disease. And she's down in New York City. And they won't let me stay. So I'm here. I do have almost my entire honeydew list done, so that's good. Slide that over there. Yeah, I'm doing something backwards here. It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, I get in here and just put my music on and try to not sit on the couch and do nothing. I'll flip this over. Thank you. It's rosin core solder, so it shouldn't need the flux. I'm gonna squirt some on here though and see if we can make my life a little easier. I still have to do 10 whale tail mermaid tail bracelets, bangle bracelets today. Yeah, good. Take those points off there. Hi, Jeff. There we go. That looks a lot better together. I keep wanting to adjust the vise instead of the C-clamp. Okay, so I got a nice, it's not perfect, but it's good enough to get the solder to stick in there where I want it. So we're going to shoot a thing of flux on there, and same thing as before. I'm just putting the solder straight in the hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's torch this thing up. Yes. It's a thing. I don't have a lot, in my opinion, from where I was before when we were doing shows. One tax season, I thought I needed to count every single piece of silverware I had, and when I found out I didn't, that was a good day, because I think at that time I counted almost 10,000 pieces that weren't cut. And then it got really confusing because all of these little pieces that we do cut still get turned into things. Like these little roofs are 1.5 inches of scraps. And I mean, you don't even have to use the silverware for that. And I do have some good news. I will be moving out to a camper in my backyard, and I'm gonna have almost I'm gonna have 26 feet of shop space, so I'll be able to build some more stands. That has to be soldered. So this is my first time using this brand of solder. So I don't know if it could be that. Yeah, that didn't take. So this is curious. Look what happened here. It actually just bubbled up. It's stuck on there. Well, it was. Part of it stuck. So I'm just cleaning this off with an abrasive disc. And I know that acid core solder works. Again, I just want to get this shiny. Okay, so let's do this again. Try and get this right back in the same spot. Okay, let's see where that's at. Okay, so we're here. And let's get rid of this stuff. I am getting the edges here, and that's the bottom of the roof. Get this clipped in there. One, two, three, four. The stuff I have linked in the description down below is what I normally use. It's the Harris. It's hilarious. I have a whole bunch of videos on making these. Yeah, Yep, she moved out and left the camper for me. It's still 3/4 gutted, so I just have to put up my insulation, the double foil insulation, and then that should have already flowed. And then I'll put up my plastic and my paneling, and then I'll be able to build my benches, because the entire thing's gutted, so I can build it and design it any way that I want. I should be seeing solder. Because this piece of silverware is already getting way too hot. If your silverware starts turning black around the edges, it's way too hot. So I've got flow. I don't know if you can see in there or not. It's on there. Normally I'll get a little silver streak that will go across, and I'll be able to see it, but I can't. It's not happening on these. It's weird. Really weird. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, go get our solder in there. So I'll try fluxing it this time with this solder. One, 2, 3, 4. 4 should be enough. So I can see a little piece of solder on my side that's kind of poking up like this. So once that starts to melt underneath it, I'll know. So it's still standing up. Okay, I can see it starting to bubble a little bit. And it's gone. So that's all melted. Like a soldering block. I mean, for the base, I could probably just set it on there and it would do it. That's slowly but surely, every experiment. So this one splatter it again. I don't even know where the solder went. How crazy is this? All right, let's try a block. Okay. Three, 4. Shaking like crazy. That is hilarious. That one piece just does not want to stay in there. There we go. Okay. So we're centered. We're where we want to be. We're on top of a block. Let's try this again. And this block does not absorb any heat. My sterling silver just balls up on this as soon as you touch the torch to it. Okay, so I got some movement there. So one part that I liked about having it in the clamp is I could move it and I didn't have to worry about it dropping. That is so weird. Maybe I should just start cutting out those whale tail bracelets. Give these guys a day to figure out what they want to do. That's what I was using the sanding disc for, was to clean them up. the solder on the roof was still really hot. Did it stick? Alright, so the spoon soldered on there, or not spoon, but the penny soldered on there. But I do need to tighten up the roof. And for this, I'm just gonna sweat solder it. I'll get it all heated up again. Nope. Still just a big old glob of solder. Little. Yeah, the hard part is it's a brand new roll. And this is all low temp. So let's see if we can get this solder off of here. We'll see if we can get it to just kind of melt off, or at least fall, because this roof is about just toast. You can see the black parts around the edges. We don't want that. So let's do an experiment to see what is happening to this stuff. So it's like it's just not flowing. Yeah, it's beating up, but it's not flowing. And this piece is almost red hot. So I'm gonna grab the other solder. And we'll see what this does. And that's not sticking because it's dirty. I know that. But it at least wanted to flatten out. Okay, so let's try it on another piece. Let's just find out what the solder is doing. So experiment time. And actually, let me just snip off a little piece of this. and we'll see if it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so this should just flatten out. Let me get that to stop autofocusing for you. Can you see the little pin? Come on, stop shaking so much. Okay, so you can see the strip of solder there. Now what it should do is just flatten right out. And if I move this, it should flow. Curious. It's making me think. It's too late in the day to start thinking. Gonna take the points off of this. Yep. I'm twisting the wrong one. Okay, don't grab that, Jeremy, it's hot. It's worth a shot. You can tell my brain's trying to work. I can't talk. That one's just way out of shape. All right, let's try another body. Okay, that one fits a lot better. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry everything is like not gone as planned. Okay, I do have my pickle back here, but this would contaminate my pickle because the metal's in it. Cleaning I can definitely do. Actually, it'd be easier with this and using my disc drum sander. Alright, so everything is shining. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even get that penny clean. Yep, I can get it shiny again. Okay, so we'll try this. Both pieces are clean. Let's try 5 things of solder. So my thinking for 5 is if the solder can touch all the edges. Maybe it's just not flowing because there's not enough to drop, but even just a tiny drop will make it drop, or just a tiny piece should drop, so that doesn't make sense. That sucks. Yeah. If this roof doesn't go on, I'm just gonna have to start another live and start making those whale tail bracelets. I should have been done with all of these in about half an hour. We're at an hour and a half. Craziness. And I know it's up to temp. It should be flowing right now because I see a little tiny piece of solder right there. I have flux coming out the back. Come on. You know you want to solder. Put some heat to you. Yeah. For some reason, nothing is sticking to these. And it's not that I started using different silverware. All right, the roof's on. I wonder if I can see a seam if I... Let's try this. So I know that it does have the flux on there, but I'm just looking to see if after I clean the flux off, there's actually a seam. So I've got solder there. Nope, can't tell. I don't see any solder there. I only see one piece of solder touching, and that's right there. One little silver shiny mark in my fingertip. That's the only piece of solder that I see besides this one up here. And this one will probably just pick off. Well, it's on there. The roof is on. Okay. So we got, this is so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4 birdhouses. Let's turn it this way for you. So we got 4 birdhouses made. I'll just take and punch holes in, or I'll put divot marks in the tops. So I'm going to go top dead center. Let's see, let me bring it up here for you. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight from the top, dead center. And we're just gonna make a little divot for the drill bit. And number 4. So I'll bring it up here. Hi. I'm sorry this has gone completely crazy. I've never had my solder do this before. And normally I take them out, I put the roofs right on, put the pennies right on, everything happens really quick. So this is not new, but I don't use it a lot. This stuff here from Do It Best, I think I got this at Run-ins. So far for everything else it's worked great, but this is just crazy. So all I have to do now is drill these holes, and I'll show you one last part that I do so that you'll be able to turn these into pendants. Yeah, I think I did get 2 rolls of bad solder glasses. I'm using a 9/16 inch drill bit. And a little wax, little beeswax. So these holes is where our wire is going to come up, and we can put on our beads or just make a loop for the chain to go through. All right. Put my drum back on here. Change this out for 180 grit drum. And I'm just going to knock off the very top where it's a little, just going to knock off the top where it's a little flashing on there. I'll turn this down. And I'm just barely going to touch this piece. Okay, yeah, I'll try it on something else. I don't know if I have it in me to give up on something. And I've learned that it's funner to laugh at something than it is to be stressed out about it when there's nothing that I can change it. So I'm just checking to make sure the hole is clear all the way through. Okay, so here's a trick that I use. I should have a wire right here. Oh, that's solder. Okay, so this is 20 gauge crafter wire. I got it from Walmart. What I do is I'll take my round pliers here, and I'm going to just start a twist almost right at the very tip, and I'm going to go around making this little circle. Just going to go around one more time, kind of making it like a coil. So it's like a little pigtail, but it's tight. Make sure it's big enough to go, or small enough to go through the hole. And I'm going to take and bend it right up. So this is what it looks like. Sometimes you have to adjust the wire here. Let's see if I can get it to stop autofocusing. Okay. The wire is going to go up through the top, and we want it to go up, come out the hole. Go a little bit more. Go a little bit more. Do. There it is. All right, so that comes out. So I'm forcing this to go through here now. So I'm pushing this in, and it went really fast. So there we go. So what this is going to do is, even if it gets pulled, it's still going to hold here. So it goes in, and then you just pull it right up. Now from this point, you can take and put beads on here. Come on, camera. You can put your beads on here, and then you'll make your loop for the on top so that the chain will go through. My customer just wants these. I'm actually going to take this one out because I'm going to toss this in the tumbler. But I'll when I ship them out, I ship them out with wires in for her. But these get all cleaned up. Oh, we were going to solder something different. Let me see. Let me grab a block here. Actually, I use this one a lot more. If only I could find a piece of silverware. Let's see. So I know all these pieces came out of the tumbler. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's try soldering this heart. So I got a little heart here. I'll be cutting it down here to finish it off, but these two pieces I'll have together. Let me clean them off. Theoretically, only the part that's clean should accept solder. So I'm not going to try cleaning this whole thing off, just these tips. Okay. Now I'll take the tips and I'm going to go just bypassing them a little bit. There we go. Sorry, I was down just a little bit too far. All right, thanks Backyard Creations. Okay, so these are touching now. All right, let's get you guys over here. Okay, so I'm just using my lead-free solder here. The rosin core, not the other one, because this is what I would normally use for this. And I'm going to go ahead and clip off the end of this, just to make sure that the rosin isn't out of it. Do you see it drop there? So that's soldered. And it's definitely stuck. Let's see how far down it goes. I mean, it's down through. Yep, I can't put my fingers through it. So it solders, it works. It just didn't want to work for me today. There we go. Crazy camera. Okay. Well, I got 4 done. The solder does work, so I'll have to figure out why it doesn't like these pieces. I'll probably toss all these in the tumbler together, just to make sure they're clean. All I put in the tumbler is just Dawn. That's all I use. So there shouldn't be any film or anything left on them afterwards. And these were in my bucket of birdhouses, and normally I just pull them out and it takes 15 minutes to solder up a batch. For some reason these just didn't want to work, but we got 4. I only have to make 6 more, so if we keep at this rate, it's going to take me 9 hours. All right, so I'm going to take a break for a minute, and then I have to start cutting out whale tails, whale tail bangles. So we'll use the whole serving and tablespoon, and then I'll cut out the whale tail, and then we'll turn it into a bangle that goes around your wrist. I might go live for that, I might not. We'll see. All right, thank you guys for joining me. Sorry it's taken so long, but this is live. Live always takes longer. I can't edit out all of the boring bits. And this solder in here is kind of fluffed up like a piece of popcorn too. Can't see it in there. But if you haven't yet, please subscribe. You'll see my updates, and it helps out my channel. So I will see you next time. And so have a good day. Thank you for watching, and